Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jojin Movie So Awesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
Today we're going to talk about Violent Night. It's a Christmas movie. It's been out for a while, but me and Won-Jin recently saw it, so we really want to talk about it. Plus, you know, every Christmas movie is timeless, and I get this feeling that this one will also be watched again and again and again. Full spoilers ahead. You have been warned. Please come back later after you watched Violent Night. Here we go. You know, I went into this movie, Won-Jin, with no expectations. But I heard, what's the lead guy's name? David.
The guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah. And
his name.
Recent Hellboys. And then he was starring in it. And I also, I love some of the cast members.
Let's see. David Harbour.
Yeah, David Harbour. And it was just hilarious.
You know, I was also not expecting much from this movie because last year or the year before last year, I watched these new Christmas movies. There was this new version of Home Alone, and there was also this.
I never heard of it.
Well, it was more kind of like a remake of the original one. But it kind of takes a different direction from the original one. And another one was, what was it? 8-Bit Christmas? It's the one with Neil Patrick Harris. And both of them, for me, were quite underwhelming. So again, I see this Christmas movie, Violent Night, and we see on the poster this angry Santa's face.
I don't know. I think there was a time when Christmas movies were welcome, but I think in 2023 we're just kind of it's kind of like an obligatory thing, where I think it comes from the theater culture too, because it's the holidays, so theaters wants to capitalize on that. So that used to be the tradition. But here, what I love about Violent Night is it's not a remake, and I won't say it's really original, but it mixes a lot of the elements of 90s and 80s. And merge that with a Santa story that I did not expect, where it was going. And
I mean, when we look at holiday movies, because it's the holidays and because that's when families get together, usually most of these Christmas movies are, at most PG-13, and rarely they're restricted.
Yeah.
So they're usually suitable for children, like Home Alone and Elf, the one with Will Ferrell.
Yeah, but
some of my favorite was
This is like the Deadpool of Christmas movies.
Yeah,
because they the guys who made this just said fuck that. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, so it's clearly targeting a very different audience. So instead of trying to embrace a broader audience, they're focusing on the adults, and that's what first of all, that's what I like about this film.
You think so though? I think they were going for a broad audience though, because I think we talked about this a lot of times. We have a bigger stomach for rated R movies these days.
But I think this is very inappropriate for children. I mean, that's the point.
Yeah, it's like Home Alone for Psychopaths. That kid has a very dark future. I don't know why when those goons got murked by the bowling ball and their ass thrusted through nails.
Yeah.
I was shouldn't Santa's PDF change to she's a bad girl now? I don't know if that was self-defense. I guess.
She seemed to show no remorse or regret or shock. She was glee. She was gleeful about it.
No, Santa goes in and hugs her you did a good job.
Yeah, and that instantly just made her a murderer, and he was somewhat okay with it.
But the funny thing is, I was still shocked how violent it was though. The movie upholds its name. It is a violent fucking night. And you know what I love about the violence? It's fucking hilarious. The timing is so comedically genius. Like when that guy got thrown out and got pinched, and then what I loved about it is like the old comedy. When Santa's gone, the leader and those kidnappers watch it and they're like, okay, what the fuck? This is like, it's so 90s where, you know, like even the violent comedies have those gag moments. So this is like a black comedy.
Oh, ZZ left a comment. Off topic. Nice haircut, Joe.
Oh, thank you, ZZ, are one of our most loyal subscribers. Thank you so much. I mean, it was getting in the way. Yeah, I don't know. I should shave my beard too. So next week, please expect that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, and you know what I love? I love David Harbour's acting. I think he just perfected that grumpy man role. Like it's like the same guy from Stranger Things, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
and considering that this is a pretty straightforward movie, there was a lot of. I think there was quite a range in the way things he had to act. You know, like the moment when the pouch gets thrown into the fire, you could see that he's in despair.
Yeah,
that thing is full of children's dreams.
Yeah, and I love how, just like in the 90s, they don't explain everything. They don't explain what happened to Mrs. Santa Claus. And I also love the comedic monologues. When that fucking leader guy said, yes, my nightmare of Christmas. And, you know, he's an Academy winner caliber actor.
That was John Leguizamo.
That was just brilliant. And And then they exchange dialogue like Die Hard. Like, but the situation is so fucking funny. Like, it's supposed to be tense, but these two men are like literally fighting to the death over the spirit of Christmas. And like a hidden treasure was that matriarch woman. Like she plays that boss role really well.
I loved her voice.
Yeah.
You know, she reminded me of Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
She had that deep voice.
Yeah. And you know, like, for a movie that's really black comedy, there was also a lot of like heart. That surprised me because like one of my best moments is when the little girl's dad, that letter. And the mom's like acting was on point. I'm leaving the company, and then like they have like I love how none of these people are really nice people.
That's like, true. Every single one of them, except the kids.
And I love that psychopath was dressed like a fucking elf. That motherfucker who's just trigger happy. He wants to go for it. And even the dumb kid. Like these are like stereotypes we've seen before, but I thought the acting and the script really enlivened them well. Like that bitch ass sister was also fucking funny. Like going for the fortune, and I love, like I was never bored one moment. And there are so many laugh out moments when Santa goes into a coma and he has a dream about his past. He's like a fucking Viking warrior with tattoos.
He just came back from Valhalla or something. I don't know.
It's like a fucking curse or something. And that just added more dimension.
Yeah, it's like, because when we think of Santa, we think he's like made up of marshmallows and everything good. But it turns out his Santa, I mean, being a Santa, they don't, I mean, you mentioned it. I love the fact that they don't explain too much.
Yeah.
But being a Santa is like a punishment or something.
Yeah.
He's stuck with being Santa for like a few centuries.
And what's more funny is that he plays it seriously. He's so serious about his past and his ring. And another thing I loved about it was here's one thing I was a little bit disappointed with. I thought Rudolph was gonna do some action too.
I mean, Rudolph wasn't there.
Oh,
but
right.
The reindeers.
Yeah.
The reindeers. I was thinking they would actually do something.
Oh yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, but that is similar to the original story about Santa. Hey, isn't there like multiple versions of like Origins of Santa Claus though?
Yeah. What's up with that? But anyways, so I agree. I also was quite disappointed that the reindeers didn't play much part.
No, because honestly, when the movie started becoming really violent, I thought we were gonna see those deers like
that's right, like come back like a cavalry.
Yeah, because when those like Desert Eagle team showed up, those white guys, I was like, oh shit, is there gonna be like a deer on a special force match?
Yeah, you know, like what's it called, the not jet ski but the snowmobile.
Yeah,
you know, when they were chasing on the snowmobile, I was kind of like hoping deep inside that those reindeers would show up and just stomp them?
No. What I was imagining was there was going to be an Avenger moment where Santa just takes off his clothes and then the deers are behind him and the strike team and they go full clash. But I guess there wasn't enough budget for it though, because I could tell this was a low budget movie though. A very low budget movie, and they really convinced us well that Santa wasn't invincible too. That's where the Die Hard element comes in. Yeah, and even the talk with the girl was reminiscent of Die Hard, the cop and him.
The what's his name, Argyle.
Yeah,
Argyle and the cop.
Yeah, Argyle's like, no, keep doing it. Don't worry, I got you. And then like there's this buddy element too.
And I mean, those radios are kind of unnecessary these days. I mean, we don't really use those anymore because we have our phones.
Yeah.
No, but the very fact that they brought that out of the box from a closet, that was very reminiscent of the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, I can tell.
This movie was very intentionally nostalgic. They just infused it in a way that I think Disney is failing to do, where it just like it's just there, and they're not trying to say, "Ooh, this is a remake," or think of this little thing you like. It's more like it's so seamlessly entwined. Because if you think about it, even the violence is really 90s, though. You know how like RoboCop was super violent, like late 80s to 90s.
I mean, I can't believe I used to watch that as a child.
Yeah,
because it is gruesome.
Yeah.
It's not just violence, gruesome.
Not just that, but they also sold toys afterwards, so that means they were expecting you to watch it.
I can still remember, what's his name? Murphy?
Yeah.
I think that's the cop's name before he becomes RoboCop. Like, the way he gets killed, that was super violent.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I only know one where Santa was a bad man who turned good or something. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. No, but I do think 90s, 80s, what they did well with the violence is with the presentation where we know it's like, I don't know. I know it's not real. You know, it's like a feel-good thing.
Yeah.
You know, good versus bad. And here's that simplicity too, because you know every one of those like those robbers were piece of shits. When Santa's like, when you stole that, and like, those two goons are hilarious.
He knows all the background.
Yeah, he knows everything.
I know what you did.
Yeah, and these psychopaths freak out like, what the fuck? And then when the fucking dust when the styrofoam dropped, they're like, is that snow? Is that miracle?
And then one of the goons like witness him like vanishing.
Yeah.
And then later on, remember that mercenary captain guy? He shows up, and these goons are like talking about the guy who's causing trouble, and they say, in their own words, that it might be real Santa Claus. And the mercenary captain's like, what the fuck did you just say?
One of the funniest thing was like, I did not expect Santa to chimney kill somebody like that. Like, they don't explain that, but that was violent as fuck.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that was a great way to finish him off.
Yeah.
I was wondering, how is he going to kill him? Is he going to kill him? Is he going to make him, like, is he going to turn him over to the cops?
Yeah.
But no, he was going to use his trick to take him through that chimney and just basically dismantle his body.
Yeah.
That was surprisingly violent.
Yeah.
And it was like that like the shock element that this show needed in the end.
And I loved it because like even the duel at the end is basically Die Hard and like Die Hard like movie like, because it's always Hans versus Bruce
John
Willis,
McClane.
right? There's always that at the end, and then the leader is like, I love how, like, he is reminiscent of Khan because he's the one that keeping the shit together. Shut the fuck up! You know? No, there's nothing. And then like he's the one that's logical but very ruthless. You know, very practical, and he was kind of like a stand-in for us too, because he's like he's making fun of Christmas so much, like raging on like Santa. Oh man!
I also love the beginning where he was having a drink in the bar, and then it's revealed that he is an actual Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I also loved like the fact that when the barmaid was amazed at what she was seeing, he puked all over her from the sleigh in the air.
Yeah, it's also reminiscent of like Angelina Jolie's ex-boyfriend. He played a Santa too. Remember that?
Bad Santa. That's right.
That also
Billy Bob Thornton.
So there's bad Santa element here too, without the sexual thing. So I like that too. Oh yeah, that was brutal. Yeah, the chimney thing was brutal. But like, the brutality was like, it was never unpleasant for me though. Like, it was just done in a way that was hilarious.
Yeah, and I think it was not too unpleasant or disturbing because it came in small doses.
Yeah. No, and you know what we liked about it, Won-Jin? I think it's the analog fight.
Oh, that's
you know,
right.
like, because like it's really like, you know, when they were in the pool, like basement level with the Santa and one of the goons, that shit was like out of like the 90s playbook. Like, this is like a fight, and then, you know, like fight to the death, but like really analog. Like, there's hilarious moments during the fight. Like, the bad goon is cocky.
Yeah, I also love like his use of the magic pouch.
Yeah.
And the magic pouch when he was fighting.
Yeah. No, I love how like with the fucking Dumb and Dumber like freak out when he keeps bringing shit out. Like, what the fuck is this? And I almost wanted like, I also wonder what happens if he puts a human being in there too, though. I like, I wish there was a Violent Night 2 now, where like we get like Return of Santa.
Yeah. And he gets mixed up in another like heist or something.
Yeah. No. Maybe John Legend, who got chimney fucked, like he can return as like a unicorn or something and play a fucking villain. Because I love David Harbour as like Santa.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those things where I want a sequel because it's so fucking dumb and delicious.
And if they keep this formula, I think they can come up with another one.
Yeah, and I like, this is like one of those low budget bangers, man. Like, I loved it. Like,
yeah. I also love the way they presented the moment when he found that hammer. That
hammer your favorite scene,
in the garage. You know, he was trying to catch his ring, the wedding ring.
Yeah. And
then it stops right there. And then, you know, like the spinning of the hammer thing, like this whole presentation, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because it was like that Excalibur moment or something.
Yeah. And you know what I loved afterwards? Like, when he did that skull crusher and looked at it like lovingly, I knew that like that warehouse scene was gonna be violent as fuck, and it was so violent. Like, when that poor guy, I felt sorry for the fucking strike team because I knew they were gonna die horrible ways. But when I saw it, it was just like the choreography was so good.
Yeah.
Like when when that guy get grenade fucked or something with the bag, that's so Die Hard. Except I don't remember Die Hard actually showing the death, but that was brutal. Oh man.
I mean, Die Hard was, you know, just like getting shot, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is
oh man,
hilarious.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh. I'm gonna, like, this is one of those movies that I did not erase from my computer after I watched it because I knew I was gonna watch it again when I'm having a bad day, and then like. But what do you think though, Won-Jin? Like, do you think it's for everybody though? Like, you mentioned audience. I thought there'd be a wider audience, but I guess we kind of disagree there. Do you think? I guess they. But this is gonna be replayable in cable though, right?
Yeah, and I think this is. I think, suited for audiences like us. I mean, people in their 30s and 40s who are nostalgic about the 80s and 90s action.
Yeah.
And some people who are not too serious. So I think people of our generation, I think they would enjoy this very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this movie is in a way for movie lovers too. You know, because you just see so many references, like we mentioned Home Alone and Die Hard, but that's just one of them.
And you know, like the snowmobile scene and everything. That's also very Die Hard too.
Yeah, yeah, very Die Hard.
Yeah, that's very Die Hard too.
Yeah. Oh man, now that you said that, I want a Violent Night 2 that's bigger and badder. You know, maybe he dual meets Skull Crusher. Like, Rudolph comes back and then he rides Rudolph and then he starts hammer slashing like all like these terrorists. No, because like, think about it, Christmas is every year, so it makes sense to come back.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the Home Alone did it. Why can't they do this?
No, it can start with a monologue. I found my love again. Yeah, he's back to depression again. They can just start the movie again at the bar, and maybe Nia, like what's the girl's name? Like, she grew up and she's sending letters, whatever. That would be good.
Because that happens with John McClane.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah.
And then the airport.
Yeah.
And then New York.
Yeah.
So this can also happen to Santa.
It did feel like an episode too, though. Because Santa is really a permanent fixture, and maybe there can be like a prequel or something. The rise of the Viking King, and then like he's wearing full Odin gear with a Santa Claus hat,
and how he's banished into becoming Santa Claus.
Yeah, because like they're like I did want a little bit more answers though, like because it was ambiguous and I liked it. But it would be great to have like a movie that explains that a little. What is the nature of Santa's curse?
It shouldn't take too long to mention that. So maybe if they make like Violent Night 2, they can maybe invest 10 minutes into that story.
Okay.
It would be fun if it also pays homage to a lot of like other movies. You know, like Thor 1. Yeah. I now take from you your power.
Yeah. Another thing that would be funny is if you go to Santa's actual like laboratory and it's all Minority Report. like if you think about it, there's like a magic scroll that's basically a PDF. So you got this like a hybridization, because just this alone is like a hint that this is after iPhone movie, and I like that. And they didn't go too crazy with it too, because he still needs a sleigh. And I did like how those deers were cowards. I just wish they would return and do like with the Apocalypse Now reference where like the what's the Ride of the Valkyries? Oh man. But the twists and turns also I love. Like the money and the story. I surprisingly loved all the minor characters. Everyone had a unique character.
I like that movie actor guy who got shot later.
Yeah, right away, right? Yeah, that was brutal. Like this is the kind of one-sided characters that we see a lot in Die Hard, where either they're such a piece of shit that we remember them, or they get enough unique quirks that we remember. Because like I knew that Elf guy was disturbed. I mean, we all did, but like I loved it that like he got beaten to death.
Yeah, they banged him with that. What's it called?
Like the shovel.
The shovel thing for the fireplace.
Yeah. No, they literally beat his ass to death, and I like that.
And they all ganged up on it.
Yeah. Hey, like I could tell that I bet I can't tell, but I think they had a lot of fun making this movie, and I like that. I really like that.
Yeah. Oh, man. And I like the fact that they had a great actor for the villain.
Yeah.
So I hope if they do make a second one. I hope they would also bring another brilliant actor for the villain. Because remember, Die Hard was brilliant because not just of John McClane, Bruce Willis, but because of Alan Rickman and because of Jeremy Irons. That's what made it so great.
Yo, you know what would be awesome? Like the second villain is like the Spartan King guy. Leonidas guy.
Oh, Gerard Butler.
Yeah, Gerard Butler plays the terrorist this time, and the terrorists like kidnap like an orphanage or something. So Santa is obliged to do it, and we see these kids do some like horrific shit to the terrorists. I mean, if we're gonna go crazy, might as well go crazy, right?
Yeah.
We already have like that little girl. Basically, you could argue as an accomplice to second-degree murder.
Yeah, I mean that was unnecessarily violent what she did to those guys.
No, I think what the show, like the movie maker, was trying to do was like, let's actually show the audience what happens if like Home Alone was real.
Yeah.
Because those guys,
that's a good point.
They go through body trauma that you won't believe.
I mean, you watch Home Alone when you're young, you just laugh about it. But when you watch Home Alone again after you've grown up, then you're kind of like stunned.
Yeah.
At the level of danger.
Yeah.
And the damage Kevin is afflicting upon these.
Yeah, they're not supposed to
these
get
petty
up.
Thieves.
Yeah, they're not supposed to get up.
Yeah.
Like brain trauma, speech.
Yeah, I mean their skull would have been bashed in long before they made an attempt.
Yeah, set on fire.
Yeah.
Oh man, though, like I bet the producers of this has like a little note of ideas of violent deaths. So
her taking pride in the actions that she did. Priceless.
No, but that kid actor was really good. She was so charming that goes to show like audiences are piece of shits too.
And I also love her innocence, believing that Santa was real. And the funny thing is, the twist is he is actually real.
Yeah.
I also love the point where, who was it? Like one of the adults say that there is no Santa, and
her dad.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of like shocked, including the bad guys. Like,
yeah.
you just ruined Christmas for her.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very self-conscious movie in the fact that they did so much doubt, like, as in for a stand-in of us. When Santa magically woke up because of the hope, it was really moving. Because even the cynical matriarch was like, oh, shit, all right. Because you assume she's, like, the last person that would believe that stuff. Like, she's so, like, Machiavellian and all that. So that was really moving, actually. I really like that detail. And this movie is about homage, but they worked really hard to avoid cliches too.
Yeah.
They didn't say one like line that we think we're gonna hear in a Christmas movie. Ho 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 ho.
Oh, ho 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 holy shit.
Yeah.
That was original.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, let's give a number grade now to this movie. You want to go first?
I would give this movie like an 8.5 out of 10.
Man. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Oh really?
Yeah. Because listen, it delivered what it's supposed to be. It's like a what do you call it? It's like a delicious kebab, like delicious falafel in the street. I mean, it's not pretending to be some grandiose thing. Hey, here's a Christmas movie. You know, and I bet this movie owes a lot to past Christmas movie, in that people were so tired of it. When some guy turned this like in, the studio was like, "Fuck it, go for it." we ran out of ideas. Why not? It's a Christmas movie, but boom.
I mean, I would have given this movie a higher score. One thing that's missing in this is a good soundtrack.
Oh, you're right.
I hope it would have had like a bit. I mean, what they had was good enough, but I hope they had like a banger music. Because remember Django Unchained?
Yeah.
You know, Tarantino is a genius at using music.
Yeah.
Like the moment when they have that like gun shoot scene, they have like the Tupac and James Brown.
Yo, subscribers, take a shot every time Won-Jin mentions Tarantino in a podcast. Because take a shot every time he does. I knew this was coming. I was about to commend him, but anyway, go on.
So, like, all these key action scenes, or like the moment when he grabs that hammer and everything, I wish they would have like a soundtrack that was a little more catchy.
Yeah, you're right though. But don't you think they were kind of like torn between playing those Christmas favorites, like the musics that we like, and having original soundtrack? I mean, I do think it was like maybe budget related too.
I mean, one example would be, the movie Red, Retired and Extremely Dangerous, the one with Bruce Willis and Morgan Freeman and what's his name, John Malkovich.
Yeah.
That movie also, it was kind of similar to this. I did not have any high expectation of the movie, and it was surprisingly good. And it also had great soundtrack. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that's actually a very good point. It didn't occur to me, because I was having too much fun watching people die horrible ways. And another charm about this movie is, like, I think nowadays movies are either so dumbed down or so complicated. It's like we live in an age of extreme, right?
Yeah.
Here I have a movie that I can just shut my brain off. And it's not so dumb that I go like, are they fucking disrespecting me? I don't go like that. You know how when you watch a dumb movie, you get really angry, like, for like, how dare they turn this, like, you get this highbrow, and then if it's too sophisticated, you go, do they think I'm dumb?
Do I have to watch this again?
Yeah, listen, Won-Jin, like, if you watch a dumb movie, you get insulted because you feel like they're making fun of you. You watch a sophisticated movie, you also feel offended because you feel like they're disrespecting you. Do they think they're smarter than they are? But this movie is just like the right amount of like dumb and smart. Because it's like, I think structurally it was very smart.
Yeah. So I think this would be an example of smart people making dumb movies.
Oh, shit. Beautifully put.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I think hats off to the writer, man. The writing was really good. The editing was on point. The scenes were all good. The comedic timing was just brilliant. Like, I still have like, I wouldn't call nightmares, but beautiful dreams when I imagined that chimney kill. Like, it was beautiful, and it was like, how like. I was gonna say something disgusting, but I won't. But it's just that sound effect was good,
and I think it was like a satisfying end for a villain.
Yeah.
And I also love the fact that like that the method of killing was also kind of like putting Santa on a pedestal where he kind of like wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like stomping on the enemy.
Yeah.
But when you watch Die Hard, you know, like the bad guy in Die Hard 2, the bad guy like gets into the engine, the jet engine of an airplane. It kind of feels like an accident. And John McClane just kind of like, he just watches it. But in this case, this was definitely a showdown.
Yeah. And you know why it works? Because the main character is Santa, and Santa is he works in moral absolutes. And when he says you're a bad guy, we as an audience are very like right away convinced that he's a piece of shit. and there were no redemptions for these villains. And that's what I loved about it, because, you know, nowadays, you know, I mean, me and Won-Jin, we do like complicated villains. Except sometimes some shows and some movies, they overdo it. But here, because it's Santa and it says he's a bad person, and the fucking story, you deserve to die. He's like a moral arbiter. Like, he knows better. So it's like it's an anti-hero working in absolute justice. And that's what worked.
Yeah. And the fact that it's Santa making such judgments.
Yeah. We liked it. Hey, anyway, you got anything to add, or
Well, so if you haven't seen it and you like Christmas movies, you have to definitely watch this and be prepared to take a shot, because another great example of smart people making dumb movies would be Death Proof by Tarantino. It has a very similar formula. It has a very straightforward story, but it tries to pretend that it's like a B movie, but when in fact it's like an A+.
I don't know, but like, okay, you're right.
So it's a very dumb story.
So what Won-Jin was trying to say was Death Proof is basically like a 5-star chef making a hamburger.
Yeah.
But here, I do think this is a B movie though, like because Death Proof is if we're gonna talk about that, Death Proof plays with our cinematic expectations though. So that is a smarter movie in the sense that he knew you thought this was a B movie, but there are like clever moments where are like cinematically this is supposed to happen. Like you could argue that even the bad guy getting beaten up to death is kind of like a surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? He gets shot.
Whoa.
Why me?
Oh.
But this one is not I don't know. I don't want to judge. I don't want to use the word smart. But this movie is more simple. It's just simple delivery. Here's Santa. He used to be a badass. We're gonna stop talking about that. He's gonna kill some bad guys. Okay, here we go. And then boom. And I think this was like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's the best kind of movie. Here you go. Here's Santa. Because you know, even this, you were right. Sometimes dumb movies are really hard to make.
That's true.
You know how it's like sometimes they have these concept movies where it's either. Because Scream is a good example, right? Scream 2, 3, Scream 1 is brilliant, and then the rest is, you know, whatever. And there's always this like element of, you know, playing with cliche. Just sometimes they just don't work.
Yeah.
But this one worked perfectly, and the casting was just perfect. David Harbour, like, you know, he has such wide range of acting too. Like
I have this feeling that he could also probably play a great villain as well.
Yeah, I mean he does, because he stars in a movie with Liam Neeson where he plays a serial killer.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's I forgot. Walk in the Gravestone. The movie's okay, but his acting and Liam Neeson's acting is great on that one. I highly recommend like watching most of David Harbour movies though. He's a real character actor, but this one, you know, it goes to show he is a lead caliber actor. You know, I think he can play a serious role later too, and perhaps like a prestigious movie too.
Yeah.
He just didn't get the chance. And he's such a likable dude too.
Yeah. He kind of feels like a big teddy bear.
Yeah, I mean, he's middle-aged, and he has a belly. And then that's awesome.
Because we're getting one.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's our take on Violent Night. We, as Jojin Movie So Awesome, we strongly recommend that movie. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. If you love rated R stuff, if you love action movie, if you love Christmas movie, or you wanna see a movie that says fuck you to Christmas movies, here you go. Anyway, guys, I think that's it for today. We are watching Loki. We are watching Gen V, but me and Won-Jin discussed it. We felt like, especially Loki, given how short it is, we should just cover the whole season.
Yeah, we will wait for another episode to drop, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. Loki is, I think, 6th episode. We might talk about it next week. We will also likely talk about Flowers of the what's that movie called?
Killers of the Flower Moon, the new Martin Scorsese movie.
It recently came out, Won-Jin side, but I haven't seen it. That's why we're not talking about it today. But next week we will likely talk about it. And we're also continue to watching Gen V.
Yeah.
6th episode is out, and 8 is the last one. So we will be talking about that. So if you guys want to discuss it with us, please catch up. We are watching it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. This has been Jojin Movie So Awesome. I was Joe.
I was Won-Jin.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
We love you, ZZ. Thank you for the hair compliment. I'll shave it all off if I have to, if you want to.
Thank you, ZZ.
Yeah, bye. Ba-dum-bum-bum.